Hello everybody, welcome to Let's Play Command Mission Barbarossa to Berlin. So this is the second episode of Kalinin raid. And we need to reach Kalinin, but we just reached the intersection of the highway where the highways converge and just trudging through the snow and trying to micromanage all these units. And the T-34 you can see there has been sniped by a German half-track. Panzer IIIs have trouble knocking out T-34s, and half-track disabled it. Now that I think about it, it kind of makes me mad that it happened. And I mean, the tank was still moving, but I don't know why it stopped. Maybe because of experience level. So it's kind of foreboding sign, very ominous sign that things will not really go as planned. And yeah, I mean, yeah, look at all these trucks filled with infantry. I need to control each one of them. I think this has been a rather enlightening experience on what Command Mission is able to do and what the experience consists in terms of medium length scenarios such as this. This is 40 turns. And I've been playing like 20 turn missions, 30 turn missions at most because I wanted to update the channel with as many videos as possible, as quick as possible, limiting it to 10 turns an episode. All this sheer amount of units I try to micromanage as if I was playing 20 turn scenarios. Micromanage each unit every turn and then basically edit the whole thing with the commentary. It just taking me like twice as much time, like 30 minutes per turn. So you can estimate how many hours it takes me to play like 10 turns just on the process. Like, I guess really commanding a Red Army in this situation through the snow and all that. Anyways, yeah, I mean, enough of me just ranting again about the whole recording process and all that. This has been a rather interesting scenario so far because we really didn't see any action in the first episode. The 10 turns just, us to manage the logistics of trying to move all these guys through the corridor and deliver the troops where it needs to go. And in of itself is a rather very... Yeah, it's basically a Herculean task in a way because the AI takes its time to, get in order and to move according to the order, and then the experience level itself doesn't really help matters because it's all green and conscript level. So it takes around 30 seconds to actually process the order and then, raise their fingers to see where the wind blows and all that before trying to make a move, take each one pondering step after the other. So it takes like minutes, possibly in game time too, for them to move anywhere or even change directions. Yeah, I mean, trying to just see the line of sight here. The pine trees, I disabled some of the trees, I think, because it's just too, it's just too much for my computer to handle if I enable full tree graphical options. So I disabled some of it, but the pine trees really do not give us the line of sight through it. That's a bit of a shielding for us, which we can exploit perhaps. Just keep to the pine trees and to, get out of the prying eyes of the German reinforcement or reconnaissance, which I have identified along the highway. So they have already arrived or they started out in those places. And yeah, just checking the immediate area where the advanced vanguard is actually trying to infiltrate, which is the another fork in the Turinov highway toward Volokholamsk. So it's a bit of a it's a bit of a connecting area where I think it's going to be very important. I need to move all these trucks filled with infantry, and then I'm trying to navigate around the stricken tank that has been sniped and disabled by or immobilized by the half-track. And the tank is actually having overwatch over that area where I'm sure that the Germans will also bring some armor or other vehicles, so we might be able to, surprise it, ambush it. And yeah, there's a group function, and I think I mentioned already, this micromanagement thing is really taking its toll. Just too many troops to control and to direct. I don't think I can actually direct every single unit like this. But I think I realized it before it's too late, and hours passed by, and yeah, I mean there's group function, so I can probably give broad strokes, but it seems like the smaller scenarios have given me bad habit of not being able to see the forest or the trees, because I just became OCD with all these things. I need to control every one of it, and then if one unit fails or gets demobilized, then it's my fault. So yeah, I need to direct all these guys individually, you know, at least for the time being. But I think the situation will definitely improve as we lose more troops. Lose more troops and involve these troops in more battles, because AI is gonna take over and then not really listen to the orders anymore. Because this is green and conscript level troops, so they just do whatever they want most cases, if they are in a heat of battle. And you can see in the first, you could see in the first episode where one guy got not even grazed by a bullet and then got scared and immediately got broken and routed. So this is probably something that I'm going to really see more of. And yeah, this is actually a very complex mission. I'm really finding it better. I don't know, like it's probably over my head sometimes, because I mean, look at that. The AI doesn't really navigate the road really well, so it just, yeah, it's regular experienced truck driver, but I bet he's a bit drunk. I got a bit of a, I think, liquor in his system. I would also be in the similar situation if I was trying to drive a truck filled with infantry into the battlefield, filled with, you know, burning refuse and hulls of our compatriots. And here is some kind of SP gun that is taking a shot on the truck driver. More the reason to get drunk. And there's also a gun prepping up to shoot at us across the bog perhaps, and I really need to make sure that I get the trucks to really, you know, drive fast and then even risk breaking down in certain spots, because if they like kind of meander and then just drive, saunter along the highway, then they surely get targeted by the gun and then destroyed. So yeah, I'm trying to move the tanks out in turn 12. Yeah, trying to get the tanks out into the open a bit, and trying to widen the area of coverage as I try to support the infantry move up the both sides of the highway. And yeah, I'm just leaving the most experienced tanks a bit behind in order to oversee to the end of the highway toward Moscow. And I'm just trying to target the gun here using the stricken T-34, and also adjust some of the trucks, because I mean, I'm obviously going to be targeted and I really need to drive on the road. That is very important to drive on the road, because the truck itself cannot really, does not have the wheels or I don't know, the tracking in order to be able to drive fast on the open field filled with snow. So yeah, I mean, the road is where it has to stay. That's another dimension to the difficulty to transport all these troops to the front lines. And they get a bit bunched up here. Yeah, it's a bit of a congestion happening, but I think AI doing a pretty good job of trying to, you know, move as fast as possible under the watch of this tank. And I don't think it was able to find anybody, although I did order it to shoot. And I think yeah, this truck, you can definitely see the difference in speed, and it's being targeted by the gun. It really need to be, I think that was really lucky it was not broken down. But yeah, really needs to move fast, and I think it knows, it was alerted. The BA-10s, yeah, reconning down the road. We were able to find one single unit of German reconnaissance in the first episode. We found another one in the other side of the highway, and the tank was able to track it for a while before it disappeared. Now it moves really fast. The T-34 is really good in snow, using its wide tracks to move. Yeah, and also bring some troops along with it, on top of it. So I plan to drive as much as possible and then drop the troops off. Yeah, a bit of an advanced party to claim the area for us. And we obviously lost the gun. I don't know where the gun is anymore. Yeah, so the trucks have been moving along pretty briskly. We found another infantry squad. It is being well under lot of fire, so no problems there. I think it's just a solitary unit, nothing major. Soldiers really have no problems under the overwatch of the tanks behind it. And trying to check the line of sight here, we were able to get some of the sight here done, but not really full view of the length of the highway, so I think we need to move up a bit in order to get a better view and better sight on the unsuspecting armor columns that might come rumbling down the road. And here on the other side, we are able to also check the line of sight. Yeah, so it's a pretty wide area, wide field. It's pretty good toward the south. Not really so good toward the west, but I think we can move the tanks a bit in order to improve the situation. So the veteran tank, that actually is a Lukin's tank. And Lukin is supposedly a guy who was directing the whole affair, whole scenario on the Soviet side, and actually a real person. And then he was evidently captured by the Germans and then sent to concentration camp. And I don't know what happened to him afterwards, but yeah, things really didn't go well for him. Lukin is actually the only veteran tank available to us in this scenario for the Soviet Union. And just checking out the German side here, we've seen some of the German units disappear along the road. I don't know whether they're actually moving along the road or biding their time before their own reinforcements come. Yeah, so we are on the hunt mode down the main highway to Moscow. So the tanks that are not Lukin, mostly green and conscript tanks, are moving forward, followed by these trucks. And some of it actually is turned around, facing backward of where it came from. So I don't know what happened there, but maybe it got just turned around by some of the collisions that happened. And you can hear the planes like buzzing around, and it's really unnerving because I got the message of a viewer commented that it's probably not the Soviet Red Army Air Force. So yeah, it's probably Luftwaffe too, because having some recon down first before dive bombing, we get attacked from the side. I don't know where it came from, maybe from across the bog. There were some Germans actually traveling along the length of the bog, or I don't know where it actually came from, but then he was able to travel all the way in order to target the troops transport right from the side of the road here, and then the tank has to watch out because it can crush the troops. And then yeah, this guy was able to just rush in, and then, you know, thank goodness there's a T-34 to take care of things, because these Russian troops might have been routed from this single unit setting up an ambush. But the tank is able to take care of it somewhat, and it crashed into... don't worry about it, folks, I don't think it really crashed into the truck. The truck is okay, and so are these guys. I think they lost a couple of men from the unit, and he's able to crawl to the nearest cover, which is the building on the right. And I think the situation is being contained. And there was a pretty accurate shot that damaged it. And the tank is on the case. Yeah, they're pretty quick about it. And on this wide field, filled with snow, he's able to really identify and then target it pretty well. And we are trying to advance, but we are being shot from some place. I think you know where. And these B-10s are also winning the action. And here is that culprit, was shooting at our advance party and damaged the unit. That was, yeah, shot from the church. Yeah, figures. That is the best building to entrench yourself in. Probably the only heavy building along the highway. So there was a German unit there trying to dissuade us from traveling up the road toward Volokhovsk highway. And this is T-26. Yeah, wow. Also winterized somewhat. And it's a light tank. It's not really well armored, nor can it really offer any, you know, armor-piercing damage, but it is able tank against infantry. And look at that grizzle face on the tanker, but it's actually green experience level. Yeah, too bad. But it's going to help us to try to fill up the rear guard, or, you know, fill up the areas where I need to watch over, and then maybe provide some welcome firepower against the German defenders, infantry defenders along the highway. The trick is to move them as quick as possible, because I think they're not really as fast as T-34s on the snow, but on the road they are definitely faster. And here we are trying to move up further and then to engage the German defender in the church, while these guys really have to take cover and then try to sneak to the nearest cover before they get routed. And here on the other side of the road to Volokholamsk, I'm trying to also move to contact, and I think I get contact. Yeah, the tanks. Yeah, I'm just sending the rest of the tanks toward for both highways. One toward Moscow and the other one toward Volokholamsk. And here we are trying to contain the situation as best as possible and to save the infantry using the tank. And trying to organize a bit the trucks, the transports that are still to bring the troops to the front lines as best as possible and as fast as possible. And yeah, all these units individually placed by hand, I really shouldn't do that because it's just crazy. Yeah, so we are responding a bit, the other guys are taking cover in the scattered trees, and also the tank. I mean, this German defender in the church must be very good at what it does, because it is also able to target the tank while it's moving, while keeping tabs on the infantry as well. So yeah, very able guy in the German defenders. I need to be very careful. And this guy finally, I think this guy, yeah, was supposed to go a bit further, the tank, before delivering the troops, but the troops are now out in the open, getting targeted by the... Actually went under carriage of the tank before rushing out toward this cover, which is a good thing. Able to capture the building so that we can move the other guys while under being surveillance or under some kind of a fire support. Yeah, so the truck is rather slow, as you can see on the snowy field. Definitely try to keep it on the road. Then it's looking unbuttoned and seeing what is going to happen on the highway to Moscow. And this guy is also going out in the open. Yeah, this plane sound is ever getting louder. Or is it T-26s?
Push away!
Yeah, push away, folks. Push away, comrades. Let's go and yeah, let's go and keep up the pace here. Yeah, you just spend all your first turn turning. It's not going to cut it. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna cut it. I don't know why it'll start to turn like that, because it has to waste a turn. I don't know, maybe it was the designer's intention to kind of waste a turn or something for the Soviet tanks, because it's always turned on the side. And you have to turn it manually. Anyways, yeah, I'm not gonna rant further about that issue. I think I went over it a couple of times in the last episode. Yeah, so this is map overview. We're still ways off from where we want to be, which is I want to be at the church by the end of turn 20, and also there, yeah, at one of the minor objectives. I don't know what's so special about the building, but I need to capture it on the road to that Volokholamsk highway, so I think that is going to be our goal for turn 20. And yeah, some of the tanks are stationary. And these guys are trying to move away, and some of them wants to embark on the truck. And yeah, we are trying to organize a bit using the trucks, and then maybe some of the infantry can take a ride, hitch a ride down this highway and here as well. But not there, because I think it's more dangerous there. Probably here is where I need to really speed things up before trying to move the tanks and support our infantry toward west. Yeah, so still trying to get out of the intersection, but they're almost there. Most of the tanks are there, I think. And oh, okay, so this guy has found some target, which seems to be a gun, or yeah, it's a gun. Still moving. I wonder if it's not hitched to a truck itself, because moving the gun in the snow is going to be very difficult and very slow. I think the gun's intention is to come out of the highway and then to face us, trying to capture this area, including the church and the other minor objective. Yeah, so you're moving down, these two tanks are moving down toward the church, and we are still getting shot, so there's not really not a good fire support for the church. We respawn, but it's not enough. These guys are getting peppered very accurately, and these guys are so jumpy, and then running back. Not really going to help matters. Yeah, at least this guy is able to advance a bit further, just running to the next patch of cover. And he's also getting hit. Yeah, so this German defender in the church is really good because in the last second he was able to target and track this guy, and then not only that, shoot at him. Even more T-26s? Yeah, so we got a lot of these tanks. They're supposed to arrive, I bet, a bit quicker because, I mean, they're faster tanks and they can be used probably a bit better than the BA-10s for recon purposes. But now they're in the rear, so we need to move them up as quick as possible. And then go into the nearest cover. At least some of them are now trying to provide some fire support against the church. Yeah. So, the trucks, some of the trucks have gotten out and we see our first tank. I think it's just the sound contact, but we see the first reinforcement. That may be consisting of German tanks, possibly Panzer 3s and 4s. So we really need to move quickly before they'll be able to target this area. Yeah, so BA-10s are also joining the action, shooting their main gun against the German defender there. It's proving to be a tough nut to crack. And some of the tanks that I sent along the highway toward Moscow, I'm hoping that they are also able to target the defender, bring their 75mm gun to maybe level the area if possible. So we are going a bit closer, especially the tanks, followed by the trucks. So I think they are protected. Yeah, so the BA-10s are shooting. Hopefully he's able to suppress some German unit there. Yeah, so there's also the machine gun coming to support us. So I think we'll be able to move pretty quickly after that. We can just suppress them. And we're still trying to track this German guy who was shooting at us with the transport in the first turn of this episode, which was turn 11. Yeah, they're slowly moving into the pine tree. And this machine gun is going to support our troops a bit late, but you know, better late than never. And the guy who's running, he's a guy who got routed, but then he's able to recover somewhat, also moving. And yeah, this guy is also trying to follow suit, but then was quickly intercepted by the tanks and eliminated. I don't know what those guys were, probably tank hunters because they got eliminated rather quickly, so probably two-man team or maybe, yeah, mortar or something. Not a full squad. Yeah, still, I don't think I'll be able to reach that minor objective down the road there by turn 20 because just the progress is being halted by this single German unit from the church who was able to really intercept and put a hurt on any of the progress here. I bet if the soldier's experience level is at least regular, they're able to still move, but then I think the best choice would have been just moving along the pine tree like that guy there. I gave an order for the soldier to move along the pine tree on the right side of the tanks there, and then I think he's able to probably do the best job trying to get close as possible. And we're trying to get the tank into position so that I'll be able to get a T-34 to aim at the German unit at the church. And yeah, I'm trying to make sure that some of the troops here, a bit behind, embark on the truck so they can move a bit faster. Yet more tanks are going into the right side of the road there, to support our progress. Okay, so yeah, still going. Hopefully be able to target the defender in the church, now hiding or being suppressed. Okay, so we now find this guy who was attacking us in the beginning of this episode. Yeah, I think it's well suppressed, and green experience level shows by the errant grenade throw. Trying to move away, but got quickly eliminated. Alright. And still a bit of a problem here navigating, but this guy's probably got onto the truck and now he's ready to move, which is a good thing. We really need to make these guys travel quicker, and T-26s are now arriving. Slowly but surely. Yeah, and I really hear the dive bombers or something, you know, strafing whatever, I don't know where it is trying to strafe, but definitely diving sound of a plane. So I don't know where it is actually coming from. And this tank is arrived at the stretch of a cover where I'm sure that he's able to target the church. And these guys are traveling along the highway in order to deliver this unit. Yeah, down the road there. Yeah, so machine gun is not able to see the church, which is quite interesting. But this tank that is situated a bit behind is able to, maybe because it's high profile, is able to see a bit more. And yeah, trucks are definitely moving but rather slow. I should probably fast move them. Yeah. On the reinforcement, possibly the last of the reinforcement that we have. So let's see what we got. Okay, so it's I think it is T-34. It's all green and conscript level tanks, but I mean that's really good because definitely we'll be not wanting for the lack of any firepower anymore. We can still move these guys to face the Germans, meet up their forces, I bet, if we move quick enough. So B-10 is moving a bit in order to maybe target this guy. I'm able to target it, but it gets blocked by some reason at the end of its line of sight. I don't know why. It is also true for the case of the tank that I parked there in order to, in hopes of facing the church, but I really can't target it except for area fire. Maybe I should try area fire. Just taking a bit of a look at the forces here. No more contact. The tank contact has disappeared, possibly now traveling on the road. Yeah, so the site is blocked here, as I mentioned. It is able to area fire still, but just past the church walls, it is not be able to see or target this guy. It's quite weird how he's not able to do it, because I mean the unit that is far back is able to target him. So it is a bit of a problem. We may have to move these guys really close or something. But then the guys on the other side of the road or far side of the road, yeah, definitely is able to target it, so at least we are able to suppress it from there. Yeah, just wondering about the line of sight. As we move further toward Moscow, I think we'll be exposed from our right side, so need to be very mindful of that. And here I'm trying to move the tanks a bit. And also try to target the... I mean, there's two different things I can do here. To move forward a bit, supporting the troops, and also to target the church, the defender. And also moving, keep moving. Yeah, trying to take a ride on the T-34s that have just arrived. It's a welcome sight for the tired troops. Their green conscript legs. Yeah, so we're moving on the both sides of the road here. Along with the B-10s. Hopefully in 2 turns I'll be able to yeah, arrive at church in strength in order to suppress this guy, whoever it is who's defending it. It's been very good so far. Oh, okay, so we just got out of the truck for some reason. Maybe he was targeted by the church. I'm not so sure. They're all like, I think I gave an order for them to actually disembark, so I guess it's gonna be no problem there. And okay, what is this now? Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. This is just... He just destroyed everything within 100 meters of the crater. Goodness. I think one of my mortar definitely got destroyed. A lot of panic going on. They just like dropped a nuclear bomb there and then destroyed a tank, I think, and trucks on fire, and probably destroyed all my tanks, like 3 tanks. Oh my gosh, this is just so stupid. Actually, the other tanks are moving. Other tanks survived, but dang, yeah, he's no kidding around. Just morale dropped from 98% to 85%. Oh my goodness, it's just not good.